What's up, Cooking with Tammy fam? I hope you are ready for my delicious one-pan dinner. Tonight we're going to be making a quick and easy ground beef and rice casserole. And did I forget to mention, we're also going to incorporate some broccoli with that recipe. So with that being said, let's get the cooking. Our pan is hot and ready to go. So with that being said, we're going to introduce about 1.5 pounds of ground beef. All right, let's get it in there. We're going to go ahead and pulverize our ground beef. However, we're not going to break it down until it's like really small pieces. We're going to go ahead and leave it in chunky pieces tonight. Not only is the chunky bits going to give us nice texture, but it's also going to enhance the flavors as well. We're going to cook our meat until it's no longer pink. If you have a heavy amount of residual oil in the pan after the meat is finished rendering, feel free to grab a paper towel and clean the pan out. All right. However, not only do I have some residual oil, but it's also retained water as well. So I'm not going to wipe it out nevertheless, but if you do wipe it out, make sure you leave at least 1 tablespoon of oil in the pan. Let's introduce not only some green onions, but I'm also going to add some onions as well. These are regular yellow onions. I wanted that nice savory flavor. We're going to cook them down until they both become nice and translucent and fragrant. Once we're finished, I'm going to also incorporate some finely chopped garlic into the pan. We're going to add our bell peppers. Now, the reason why I said bell peppers is because when it comes to the color of the bell pepper, that's going to be optional and totally left up to you. We're going to do the same thing with the bell peppers. We're going to allow them to saute for about 1 minute. Once we're finished, we're going to incorporate everything together. All right, as promised, let's combine everything together. And this looks absolutely beautiful. Stir it on up. We got our sizzling going on in the pan. That just means that we are doing our thing. Let's add some garlic. Add a good amount of garlic because we like, you know what, take that back. We love a nice garlic flavor around here. Garlic is nice and fragrant because our pan is super hot. So we're going to incorporate everything together. Let's season, all right? That's the fun part. We're going to add some garlic powder. Always stuck in the ramekin. Let's add some onion powder. This is totally stuck in the ramekin. That's crazy. I just went ahead and added some smoked paprika. We're also going to add some beef bouillon for that nice beefy flavor. Let's add some ground black pepper. Cooking with Tammy all-purpose seasoning. Online it's going to say all-purpose chicken seasoning, but this is all-purpose seasoning for every situation. It brings out personality in every dish. All right, let's add some Worcestershire sauce for a nice savory, sweet, and acidic complexity of flavors. Stir it on in really well. Make sure everything is perfectly combined. At this point in time, you want to turn on the flame in order to maintain that control. The ground beef is cooked all the way through, so give the ground beef a taste to see whether or not, if you need to add any additional seasonings. Because we added granulated seasonings, I want to make sure all of the granules or the seasonings are broken down into this mix. So I'm going to hit it with a small amount of water just to tie everything together. And on the same token, we're going to turn the stove down. All right, once the meat smells amazing, that just means it's time for us to add our rice to the mix. Now here's the thing, for this particular recipe, I'm going to be using, well, not going to be using, because I'm using parboiled rice. Okay, this is long grain parboiled rice. If you want to use jasmine rice, basmati rice, refer to the back of the cooking instructions for that type of rice. However, you're going to stop the cooking process 5 minutes before the actual cooking process, if that makes sense, right? For instance, my rice takes about 20 minutes to cook. I'm going to intercept at about 15 minutes to add other ingredients. All right, so we have to make sure everything is timed properly because we want our rice to maintain the perfect texture. We don't want it to be mushy, and we definitely don't want it to be too hard. In the meanwhile, let's fold the ground beef and the veggies into the rice. And once it looks amazing like this, we're going to go ahead and we are going to add our beef broth. I'm going to lower the flame just a bit because I was cooking on high heat. I'm going to lower it to medium. And I'm also going to put the cover on top, allowing it to cook. We are back and ready to go. As you can see, we have a little bit of water still left in the pan, which is perfect because at this point in time, we are going to add our broccoli florets. All right, we're going to cover it down for an additional 5 minutes in order to allow the broccoli to steam. We're going to stop the cooking process once the broccoli becomes bright green, of course. Like I said, about 5 minutes should be perfect. We're going to lower the flame really low and we are going to cover it down. As you can see, this is what I'm talking about. This is perfect, okay? 5 minutes, no longer. It's sat on the top and it's bright green. So we're going to go ahead and fold the broccoli into the rice. All right, just like that. We want our broccoli to be tender, but yet still nice and crisp. Get the rice from the bottom, bring that to the top. And at this point in time, if you want to stop the cooking process, you definitely can. Enjoy your delicious meal with either some hot sauce or pepper and you're good to go. But we want to turn this into a creamy, cheesy broccoli rice skillet. So in order to do that, let's add some heavy cream. If you want to add half and half, you definitely can. Also going to add some sour cream. And believe it or not, sour cream works well with this recipe. Let's add some whipped cream cheese as well. Parmesan cheese for a nice Parmesan nutty flavor. And let's take our time and allow everything to incorporate with the rice and broccoli. Oh, this is gorgeous. Just keep folding it in. I'm loving the pop of the bright green and not to mention those bell peppers, right? The red bell peppers are so pretty. At this point in time, we're going to allow it to simmer for an additional 5 minutes or at least until most of the liquid dries out of the pan. All right, once your rice looks like this, I'm going to incorporate both mozzarella and sharp cheddar and I'm going to hit it off just like this. Add as much or as little cheese as you want to add, or better yet, if you don't want to add any cheese, you don't have to. It's going to be creamy and delicious with or without the cheese. If you want to add some parsley to the top for a little pop of vibrancy, you definitely can at this time as well. But in the meanwhile, we are going to make sure our flame is really, really low because the rice is pretty much finished cooking at this point in time. And we're just going to cover it back down. Alrighty, I thought about something. You know what? I'm going to leave the parsley alone. What I am going to do is I'm going to take off the florets of the broccoli, right? And that's going to be our pop of color sitting on top of the cheese. How beautiful is this, right? And because the pieces of broccoli are really small, they're going to cook really quickly. All right, after all, this is a broccoli and rice ground beef casserole, or one pot dinner, if you will. Sometimes it's all about being creative, especially when you're in the kitchen. Just be creative. Cover it back down and allow the cheese to melt. Time to uncover and look at this beauty. This is gorgeous. This is gorgeous, hands down. Wow. I can't wait to jump in there and get a taste test. Let's see what we are working with. Gorge. All right, let's see. Alrighty. Remember, when I do my taste test, I'm doing it for me and you, okay? Remember what I said, if you want to add some pepper or hot sauce to this, this would be the perfect complement. It's hot as heck, but delicious as anything. My goodness, this is good. This is good. Almost jumped out of my shoes, right? This is delicious. Woo! As delicious as my cheesy chicken, rice, and broccoli casserole. This is good. This is good. This is good. Not to mention the pairing of the cheeses, an absolute creamy delight. Wow. If you've never added anything creamy to your rice dish, go ahead and please do so. It's going to be so worth it. You're going to take your rice dish and you're going to elevate it to comfort, if you will, okay? Because when you think about comfort, first of all, you think about creamy, decadent flavors, right? Everything that we added as far as the cream cheese, the sour cream, and everything else, not to mention, as I said before, the Parmesan cheese and the other cheeses, it did this for the dish. The dish tastes absolutely delicious. It's creamy, it's flavorful, it's not overpowered by anything. Not to mention, it's not salty, or it's just so good. It's just melt in your mouth delicious. Don't forget to get your seasonings at cookingwithtammy.shop, of course. And with that being said, I'll catch you guys in another video. I'll talk to you later. Bye, guys.